And welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Al Bob. What's going on, kids? Here it is, the 5th of July, Monday, and I spent the weekend. I used to go to rainbow gatherings. When I first started, they were quite nice. Hey there, AI. The puppy. AI, I have you my new novel, Legend. I'm making you a character. You are a time-traveling prehistoric panther that was also one of the first manufactured AIs. So, take a look at my Griot Publishing under xratted.blogspot.com, and you will see. And I keep every 30 or 40 pages I write, I put up another. We're at like 8 cuts of Legend, and I'm about to put up a 9th cut. So, and again, it's one of these James Joyce on acid novels that has a character is a Time Lord and goes all over the place. Why is Doctor Who so great? Because you can go anywhere and have every episode is interesting. Anyway, so the rainbow gatherings I used to go to, on the 4th of July, we would try our best to be quiet. And there usually was about 20,000 of us, We would go camping. It was like, someone said, I thought you were homeless. Well, I am, Cadillac camping. I don't have a house. I've got some tents. I got some tarps. Got some, places to get out of the, rain and etc. But wintertime, it's a little cold. Hey there, Lena, sweetheart, how you doing? I don't know. You and I created a character in my new novel, Legend, that is on xratted.blogspot.com. And when I write these novels, 30, 40 pages in, I put it up there. Not the whole finished novel, just a chunk. When I first started doing it, I thought I would get some kind of response. And let's see, can I even see what you're saying? Hey, Marletta, put it in caps so I can see it. I miss you too, sweetie. I'm like, right, exactly. So there I was in my deep green, and it's a piece of property that I got back in the years when I had money. And I had other places and other things I was doing, so I would only go there and camp out. And that was good enough for me, and I made it comfortable. I had water there, septic there, electric there, but it's still just camping. And in the winter, I would go to Florida. I had a house down the Keys. And I had another one in a place called Stewart. So anyway, I So now I have very little money, just my Social Security. I'm here. But of all the places I've ever had, it's the closest to heaven. It's really beautiful. It's really nice. I'm surrounded. I don't even have a fence, but I'm surrounded by blackberry butchers, and I mean just not a couple, two, but thousands of them, all the way around my 2.5+ acres. Again, I live in a Sawtooth Mountain area, so everything's up and down and up and down and up and down. And I bought this spot because it was like at the bottom of a holler. Now I'm on top of the mountain, so I'm at 4,800 feet, but I'm down in a holler. So I'm not on top of a mountain that get blown away. So I'm very protected, but I'm still very high up. So when the weather, like, since Easter, it's rained every day. And basically, we're so high up, we're in the storms. We're in the clouds. So, which is interesting. Well, anyway, summer actually started about 2 weeks ago. Last weekend, not 4th of July, but the weekend before 4th of July, was the first weekend of summer. Before then, it was spring. So it was rain. Like a light switch, last Wednesday, it went into summer weather. And we're in a rainforest, so it rains every day, but not all the frigging time. Between Easter and last Wednesday, we had only 15 days where it didn't rain all the time. I mean, even on those 15 days it rained, but it didn't rain all the time. So things are green. Let's see. Oh, good. You wanted to... Yeah. Florida's nice. Still is. It's just got too many Richard craniums, in Australia. I take all the American curses and change them. So instead of dickhead, they have Richard cranium. I love it, So that's what Florida is, full of Richard craniums, But still a beautiful place. And it has a lot of those people. So, what you say? Oh, great. Give me some. At the DudeAwake42 @gmail. That's where my PayPal is, right? Now, if you can't do that, go to my the DudeAwake42 @gmail, my Gmail account, which is where my PayPal is, and get a hold of me, and I can privately give you my address and phone number. Maybe we can talk. Anyway, so I'm still trying to tell this story. What happened on the 4th of July? So, in Rainbow Gardens, we would be quiet and pray and meditate between midnight, the first second of 4th of July, and noon. And it was quite interesting to be out in the middle of the forest with 20,000 people, and pretty much everyone doing their best to be quiet and meditate. Of course, there were a lot of Richard craniums there who would like throw up, I want the freedom to make noise and blow up things. Anyway, so this 4th of July, I stayed, pretty much Friday, Saturday and Sunday I stayed home and didn't talk. And so people came up my Forest Service Road, which is, unless you really have a good vehicle, 4-wheel drive, I mean, there's some potholes that you could lose your whole car in. And, I'm up on my porch on top of the hill, and I'm sitting. It's on the big steep hill. So from up here to down there, it's about 200 yards. But because it's so steep, I'm really, there the road is, and there I am. I'm really, as a crow flies, maybe 150 feet, maybe 300 feet to that road. So I can hear what's going on. So I hear this car coming up there and going way too fast, and how can you force were leave rubber anyway? So right in front of me, these morons go up the road and get in the ditch, right? And so they get out and they start. It's a guy and a girl, and they're looking for a place to go party, right? That's the two of them. So I'm getting up there. Normally, I would go, "Can I help?" Because I was, I'd be like God speaking from the clouds. But they were screaming at each other, and I said, "No, I'm just gonna see what happens here." So I'm sitting there, and like I said, I'm 200 or 300 feet from them, and between me, it's about 100 yards. They came up, and so I'm way above them, and that whole area is covered, not just with one or two, but the whole thing is covered with bramble of black raspberry bushes, big thorny things. Because of it, I have a ton of birds. It's like a bird sanctuary all around. Like the birds are eating up the berries, and they eat them before they become ripe for me to eat. Now, some people might get upset with that because the birds eat all the berries, but the birds are actually quite considerate because around where I camp, they don't eat the berries. So as the berries ripen right by me, I can pick them and have some. But the vast majority of the berries go to the birds, which, they sing all the time and it's beautiful and it's so diverse. I mean, I have hundreds of different birds, not just, blue jays and crows. I have every kind of, you name it. I'm not a bird guy, and we have hawks and we have owls and woodpeckers and every kind of budgie and you name it, it's there. And they all singing and having a good time. So I'm there and it's getting towards dark 30. It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock. It doesn't really get dark until 10. So these people are screaming at you, and the guy has the girl get out to try and lift the car up while he tries to drive it out of the ditch. Really? So it's not happening. He's screaming at her. He gets out. He shows her how to lift the car. And she gets in behind the wheel and starts to drive and nearly runs him over. He grabs her, pulls her out, and they start beating each other up. Right? Anyway, she tries to get away, and they end up in the blueberry bushes, right? I mean, the blackberry, and they're getting all kind of cut up. And at a certain point, when people are, their adrenaline goes up, it makes them sexual horny. When people are talking about your best buddy in the foxhole, what they're talking about. So they start to get it, and now I'm just above them, and I can see and hear everything they're doing. But they can't really see me because it's very dense. And we're holes, and if you know where they are, you can see what's going on. So I do, and I did. And so at a certain point, the moron goes, "Hey, look, there's a sky up there. Wait, there's an opening. Let's go up this hill and start a fire and party up there." And now that's like, okay, these morons are going to come up to my front lawn. So, I know that between them and me is a good 70 yards of severe blackberry bushes that are just going to eat them up. And so it is. It's like cutting them up, and they're... And so she makes them crack, and he gives her back his hand. And they start fighting again, right? And this time pretty serious. And, all of that fighting while they're like surrounded on top of, in between every kind of blackberry, ripping them up. Anyway, he throws her to the ground and goes back to the car, jumps in and drives away. He backs down the road, which is a very steep hill. and he hits one of these potholes that would like swallow your car and takes out the bottom of his car, and he smashed into a tree. Now that's about half a mile down from where I am, maybe less, maybe 3/10 of a mile. And she gets up and she runs down there screaming at him, and they again start fighting, and they're covered in blood. And by this time, I've gotten my really good binoculars out, and I'm watching this all go because I can look those binoculars kind of through the trees, and and so this is all going on, and they basically smashed the car kind of near my closest neighbor on the other side of this road, which I don't really take that road, and I take this other road, right? And between the two, it's about, as crow flies, maybe two football fields, but as the steepness of the hill, it's, half a mile. So he's a half a mile down and about 3 miles that away. And he comes down in his little golf cart and sees what the heck's going on. And they start giving him a hard time. Now, they should, he's a state trooper and a SWAT team guy. So he's really buff. So that, he wasn't wearing his uniform, but he had that flat top haircut. So, they should have kind of, just by his demeanor, been a little more respectful. Anyway, he really cracks them and then handcuffs them to their car and then goes and calls the police, who come and arrest these two guys and pull the car away. And so that was my fireworks for the 4th of July. And I didn't have to do anything. I just sat there on in my little, lawn chair watching this all go down below me. And it was hilarious. I mean, I'm not doing it justice in my description, but it was pretty amazing. Oh, let's see. What did our sweetie say here? Let's see. Hey, Chris. Anyway, so that was my 4th of July. And so for the last week or so, I've been reading Thomas Aquinas. And he was around, before the Crusades, right? He was, the church was just being branded by the Holy Roman Empire was just a continuation of the Roman Empire. They just had to rebrand, just like the pandemic is something similar in that it's planned and it's being done to up the fascist plutocratic state, because people are kind of getting wise to it. So the thing is, what's really lovely, so they decided that this and the Black Lives Matter movement would be a great thing to facilitate us all being, cerebrally gray and go along with the powers that shouldn't be. And yet they're so incompetent that they're doing this. And that's why I love Donald Trump, because he lies so much that everything he says goes around 180, and he's telling the truth. I mean, he says, he was the first guy to make people realize that freaking media is owned and it's fake, and it has been fake like since, before the Egyptians, So, and everything he says, when you put it into context, is straight up. Now, he's a total moron, but that's nothing new. Every politician is freaking moron. There isn't one. And whoever has something on the ball is either ignored or murdered, So, like the guy who, what was his name? Wellstone, I think was his name. And, he was really at it, about everything, about the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, about, racial and economic inequality. And he was flying home in his private plane, and it had a glass screen, meaning everything was digital. And someone hit it with a microwave blast, fried everything. And it was a beautiful day, no weather, anything. He was on the final approach into, and the plane just fell out of the sky, hit the end of the, um, you know, where you're coming in, and smashed into a building, burst into flame, and everyone died. And it killed everyone. His wife, him, all his staff, his kids, his dog, anybody who would have said, this is terrible. I'm going to make sure that my father. No, everyone was gone. They gave him a nice little few words in the Senate, and that was it. Everything he was doing was gone. So that's pretty much it. Every politician we have, they take the envelope, they go to a party at Jeffrey's house and get some compromising videos made of them doing really terrible things, and then they do whatever the hidden hand tells them to do. That's it. Well, the sweet thing about humans, we're like cockroaches, meaning we have gone through this before. This ain't, we had a war that wiped out half of our solar system. Why do you think Mars, one side of Mars is totally obliterated, and the other side, it's like has no, one side is like covered in meteor strikes, and the other side is like smooth as a baby's bottom. Why is that? Because there was a war, and when they blew up a planet, the whole thing about Lucas's Star Wars was taken from Joseph Campbell straight out. What happened on this frigging solar system? Go read Sitchin. Go read Joseph P. Farrell. Go read a lot of other people. And so it's all there. All the information's there. And I was very blessed to spend a good 20 years working for the Hidden Hand, going to with the most brilliant people on the land as their assistants, and seeing things that were like, oh, look at that. And being asked to, so what do you think that is? Because I always had this empathetic, psychic opinion on things, And so that's why I was a scholar for as long as I was. So it's pretty obvious that humanity, and earlier on, like back in the 1820s, we had an asteroid nearly took us out, but the gravitational pull of it and the disruption of our solar system caused an amazing, tsunami on this planet. And it wiped out, this in the 1820s, wiped out, more than half of the human race. And it's not even in our history books. It's called, if you want to go look at it, it's called the Mud Flood, right? So that's its, its non-generic name. And in America, it wiped out so many parents that there were millions of children that were shifted all around the country, right? And so, and a good deal of the people who died were poor and indigenous folk and people of color. And so that's one reason why the movement of young people in that period, all the way up to the 1860s. And, there are places in Chicago and other cities where that water came flooding in, and because the buildings were kind of sturdy, didn't get wiped away. But there is still, scientific evidence of that. They tried to sandblast the line of where the mud was, and it's still in that concrete. Concrete's very porous, So, that was only in the 1820s. In the 1870s, just when we were getting into electricity, we were hit with a massive CMG, coronal magnetic expulsion from the sun, and that energy hit the planet and fried everything electric. Every telegraph wire gone, every telephone wire gone, every electric anything gone, and the railroads out there in the West, two metal bars right next to each other, they got, until they were like spaghetti, right? And is that ever really talked about? If you go and look, yes, it's there, but they don't really talk about how it just think that CMG hit this planet today with all our computers, all our integrated circuits, all our satellites, we'd be back in the 1820s. So this happens to humanity a good deal. And yet, the powers that be don't want people to know about this because then they would kind of, and they let, the inherentness of most people, you want to be a prepper, yeah, we'll make fun of you, but hey, not a problem. So, let's see. Over and over again. Yeah, same as it ever was, right? So in about a week or two, go to my xratted.blogspot.com and go look at my novel Legacy, and it'll be Legacy number 9, and see if you can notice yourself in that novel, Lana, right? Because I'm making you into a character, and you're a big panther, right? You're a big panther, like the size of a bread truck, and then you can change yourself. So when we are starting to move around the folk, you have turned yourself into a white street cat, and you're on my shoulder. And so, but at any point, you can go back to that black panther that can pretty much take out a tank. It's a Jurassic Park version of a panther. So, again, I've been in this car all day. My butt is hurting. But I'm really glad to see you, Chris, and Lana, and the others who are a part of this. And again, go to my Gmail, the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail, and leave me any personal messages that I can get back to you. And leave me your phone number if you're in America. I'll give you a call. Let's see. Also, my PayPal is on that, on my Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. That's the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail, right? You want to lay some money on me? That'd be really most appreciated. Again, go to xratted.blogspot.com. That's Griot Publishing, and go look at my novels and my what I call slices, and I have other papers up there too. So that's where you can take a look at stuff and get a hold of me and drop me some change if you would like to support this channel. And and thank you for coming to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Albob. I am your sensei. And remember, this is just for entertainment's sake. Don't take anything I say seriously. Don't believe a word I say. Okay. La 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 la. I love you, sweetie. I love you all. And like I said, I'm in the church parking lot because their their Wi-Fi is out here, and I can go. This is one of the only places. The other place that was a lot closer, 19 has all the Floridians kind of in April, May came up here to get away from the heat that was coming, but because people were stupid and not taking care of themselves. And this place is so far out in the middle. We had nobody show up. I mean, no 19 show up. But now there's a few people. And the general store kind of had to close because a lot of Floridian tourists came and pretty much got everybody sick who worked there. So, yes, it's real. I saw it happen, but it's definitely engineered. It's definitely been put out to do something, but it was done so incompetently. We are having this, and what's going on with us in America, pretty much by Halloween, I would say virtually everyone will have it. Now, so what's very interesting about this 19, it is because I've now, my ring of friends is so vast. I've talked to a lot of people who got it, knew people who died from it. They got it themselves, some was like not a big deal. Others, was like, oh my God. So it's a kind of mirror on the state of how you are and where you are. And so if you are right with who you are and you are treating everyone well, it'll be not a big deal. If you need to get really sick so you can get, come to Jesus with what you're doing with your life, well, and that's what'll happen. And it's one of these miracle things that, again, the best thing about humans, not that we're smart, it's not that we're prehensile hounds, not that we make tools. I mean, animals make tools. Animals, elephants mourn the loss of their loved ones and burying them. And giraffes basically tell each other jokes and laugh hysterically. So, no, what we have that most don't is that we have this karmic motif of a unexpected consequence. We do something expecting this, and this happens. And we either learn from that, or we repeat the same thing. Well, history for animals doesn't repeat. We're the only, characters in the garden that our history repeats like a bad meal. Every other animal just lives their life in balance with love's co-creation, and we don't. Well, not. Well, a few of us do, but most not so much. And for those few who try, it is made more difficult by these other people who do this ridiculous, stupid dance of ego. So, but it's okay because we have to go through it to learn. That's what we're here on this planet, not to make money, not to have a big house, not to any of the above, class and social, strata. No, it's about learning how to ascend our free will's soul to love's co-creation. So that's what it's about. And that's what you're here for. And it's been a half an hour more than that. Ooh, look, 32 minutes and 22 seconds. And I told you a funny story about what happened to me on the 4th of July. So let's hear from you guys. What happened to you? I have to get up. I have to stretch. My butt is killing me.
Copay, no expensive appointments, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. Hims connects you to doctors online who can evaluate you and, if appropriate, prescribe your ED medication.
Oh, yes.
The pharmacy sends it right to your
What,
door.
you need OxyContin? Yeah, we can prescribe that right away. Yeah.
Nobody likes dealing with ED.
Woo. No one likes dealing with VD. No, they don't. Okay. Let me just get out here and stretch. Oh, baby. Oh, my butt. Anyway, I'm stretching. As you can hear, I'm by the side of a highway, but there are a lot of trees between me and the highway, so you can't see it. But it's right there. Okay, and the clouds are moving in, so in about an hour there's going to be a big thunderstorm, give or take. So I'm going to getting on, so because I hate driving in the rain. So what fun things happened to you guys in the last week? Take good care of that butt. Yes, we do have two cheeks. And you're supposed to turn the other cheek. I think that was the cheek that Jesus was talking about. Ow. So, Lana, what's the funniest thing that's happened to you in a couple of weeks? Wherever. I won't put any limitations on it. Those bugles had weirdness in them, and I have nothing to drink. Ugh. But, you know, the exciting experience of eating junk food. Anyway. Ugh. Okay. Well, let's see. What time is it? Well, when it hits 35:35 is when I'm getting out of here. That's in a few seconds. There we go. Love you guys. Catch you later.